Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Sanctum, guys. I am Jesse, the writer, director, and narrator for the Lost Codex episodes, and I'm joined by Jack, who, if you watched our last reaction and analysis videos, was my co-host. He's also my co-host for the Decoded podcast. Welcome back, Jack.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Today we're going to be watching three different cinematics. We'll be watching the Battle for Lordaeron. Everything has been leading to this. Blizzcon 2017. We don't know what happens. I kind of know what happens during the siege, during the gameplay, but I don't know all the little missing details, and I don't know what happens in the cinematics today. So we're gonna watch all three cinematics, and
I have no idea. I've kept a good spoiler embargo.
Oh, interesting. So he knows nothing. I know a little bit. Then when we come back for the analysis, we're gonna have a little bit more context through the actual scenario, which will be played off screen. But we'll come back with all the context and all of our crazy thoughts. So we're gonna start with the Jaina video in Battle for Lordaeron. Jack, are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
The Blight has broken our ranks!
Our assault has been for nothing.
Oh, here we go.
What now?
Calm down again. Is that her dad's boat?
Yeah.
Jaina.
She just freezes the Blight?
Alliance! Forward!
Screw the Vindicar, we have a flying boat. Oh, no way.
Holy
Get
fuck!
wrecked, Lordaeron.
End this now.
I was not expecting this. Choo-choo, motherfucker!
Screw the Vindicar. Holy crap.
Jaina's got her fucking dad's boat.
Oh my god. All right, that was cool. Now we're going to watch the Horde cinematic.
Wow.
Okay.
We were joking about that. That actually ended up happening. Okay.
3,
But,
2.
okay.
You ready, Jack?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Oh, Bane.
You abandoned Sauerfang to die out there!
It is the death he wanted. If that troubles you, you're free to join him.
Oh.
Or you can tend to the living. The choice is yours.
I'm sure she'd love it to do that.
For the Horde.
You know what must be done. Go,
Doubt.
my champion.
Thanos. Come on, buddy.
That ain't your throne, bitch.
Just thinking that. Oh, Warcraft 3.
Oh, yeah. Chills.
Oh, that zoom in on the legs?
Look
Sassy
at him.
bitch.
The boy's playing soldier.
Our king just routed your army!
Muzzle your dog, your majesty.
Down, boy.
Sylvanas Windrunner, you have led the Horde to a place without honor. Lordaeron is ours. It's over.
Your father would be so proud. Is that his You've gotten
So
it all
pretty.
bloody.
Only one of us wanted this war.
You call for peace when it suits you, little lion. But you're quick enough to kill.
I should have killed you the
Oh.
last we met.
How rude, sister. You're a guest in my home.
Your home. You desecrate that throne with your filth! Enough!
You put the torch to Teldrassil. But I failed those who burned. I will not make that mistake again. Surrender. Or die.
This music, what's going on?
You've won nothing.
Oh shit.
Oh fuck! Jaina's hair. Yes.
Lorthamar is there.
Oh, there he is. Oh,
Oh.
holy fuck! Once again, who needs the Vindicar when you've got Jaina's dad's boat?
Right? Is it her boat? Is it her dad's boat?
It's Dalen's boat, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Whew. All right. Give us a second.
I wonder if you could make a time machine out of a steam tank.
All right, guys, we're back, and we are ready to talk about everything that just happened. We have been waiting for Blizzcon 2017 when we saw Lordaeron being sieged. How was this going to end? And let's just we're going to talk about the scenario, because what we did is we watched the cinematics and the scenario after for context. I knew it was happening. Jack didn't, so it was kind of interesting. And we've only done the Alliance scenario, so there are going to be a little bit of Horde tidbits that I miss. I do know what happens that side, but apologies if I forget a couple of little hiccups here and there. So briefly,
we did Alliance together.
For the scenario, we both did it together. And since this is more about the cinematics, we'll briefly just speed through the scenario context. Doing it live, I didn't actually do it on beta. I wanted it to be fresh for me. I knew all the dialogue. And it was hectic. Like, I was the Blight. I was scared of the Blight. I was running around on my Draenei Paladin, and I was trying. And I didn't realize the Blight just kept crawling, like in the cinematic. I was like, "Oh man, this is too terrifying." Wrathgate PTSD was flooding into my mind.
I was a priest. I was like, I'm trying to keep people alive. They're like, it's rushing. I was like, are we going to be able to do this? It was such an epic feeling, and the emotional pacing was just, my god, so on point.
And we were in a way failing, because I was saving a couple. We pushed back a little bit, and then the Blight, and I was like, I'm going to save that guy, and then the Blight just flooded. I was like, I can't. I'm going to die, and my health was dropping. I had to. It was tough. I was like, oh my god, this is hard to do.
And then when we marched through Tirisfal, I noted that it was like really condensed as a map, because it would have taken forever to just cross the whole fucking zone.
Yeah.
We started from the shore and went down, and it was about the size of like Brill in total.
It was probably from like in live Tirisfal map. It was probably from Brill to the Keep. That was the entire distance of the map. And again, the game is shrunk down. So
I've mentioned this many times.
It's going to be like
not accurate.
2 to 3 day ride from Brill to Lordaeron. Like, it's probably a couple day journey, but this was and we saw the scale of the field in the CGI cinematic, so we know how big it is. The emotional pacing of the scenario was just there were good moments and bad moments. We were losing, and that just brings us.
It was fucking scary.
It was scary, and that just brings the first cinematic up to par, where Jaina just comes in and saves the day. Now, if you guys have listened, I know Jackie really want to talk about this. if you guys have listened to Jack and I talk about Jaina and her dad's boat, we've joked that she's going to come charging in on this boat, and there's just this massive galleon from Kultiras. And then it happens.
Thomas the Train Engine, just like her fucking dad's face on it. Choo choo, here I am, poo poo. And we were like joking that would happen. It actually does. It was all because we were like making fun of some comments in the YouTube at first. I know.
In the Jaina reaction video,
everyone was like, "That's Jaina's dad's boat," and we're like, "Yeah."
We didn't point it out. We didn't mention on screen that it was her dad's boat. I thought it was obvious, but some people wanted clarification, and that's fair. We should have expanded on that. So it's kind of become a little bit of a meme in our Discord that we didn't know. Is it her dad's boat? Is that Sylvanas' dad's boat? Like it's become this meme. And the fact that she just comes
on the ground, just is that her dad's boat?
Is that her dad's boat, Your Majesty? Like it became this. Oh God.
Dalen's boat.
I thought it was interesting that she freezes the blight into nothingness. Like she was able to just completely clear the playing field. I thought, if there's ever going to be a way to reclaim Lordaeron or some way, the Vindicar and its big holy blast, maybe it could like holy cleanse.
Fuck the Vindicar now.
We don't need a Vindicar. We got Dalen's boat. That's 2 flying ships, by the way, that the Alliance has. So like Horde, I'm feeling nervous as Horde because what do we got? We got a couple of balloon ships. The enchanted arcane cannons was so cool. I thought, okay, the
underside water effect.
Yes, it was water and arcane. Oh my God! When the wooden flaps opened up, the portholes opened up, whatever they're called. I was like, oh, she's gonna use some really rusty moss covered or seaweed covered cannonballs, and she's like, nah, these are
shit.
fully enchanted. And I actually thought of the Horde novella, because in the Horde novella, they talk about how the catapults are arcane enchanted. They talk about how the Horde's siege weapons are arcane touched. And Jaina's like, you want to see some arcane touch cannons? Here we go. These are my dad's cannons. And it was just this, and then she destroys the wall, and this big Alliance moment. And I know people are going to get a little bit questionable about this.
But it's like this climactic turn of, it's like, oh.
The
like
Alliance,
the bastards.
The Alliance has been promised a fuck yeah moment for a long time. And we were told that it was going to be the Siege of Org. And there was. The end was, yes, but it was more a victory for the Horde. And then, Teldrassil just happened, and we're like, oh my God, this is horrible. And Jaina's video was a little bit, emotionally inspiring.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been in the cinematic when Anduin calls up to the light, you get that fuck yeah moment when Gen and all the soldiers are standing up, and then Sylvanas smiles. You're kind of like, damn, I feel proud to be Alliance. But this was like I don't know if I did it when I was watching the scenario or when I watched it the first time, but I think my fist went up. It was this kind of like, yes, finally the Alliance gets this little bit of a triumphant move, because they're always shown to be the good guys in that. It makes sense. Anduin and all of his allies all love each other. They're all this big, huge, awesome family of cooperation, while the Horde is always fighting. So for the Horde, you have this war machine, fuck yeah. But for the Alliance, you're kind of like, damn, we're all united. We are team friendship. And this was less like team good guy and more like, damn, Alliance has this team fuck yeah moment.
Team fucking badass.
Team fucking badass.
With the baddest bitch at the front.
So
Jaina stole the show here, honestly.
She did, and let's come back to her at the end. We rush through the city. We do the whole scenario. It was so cool to see Illyria teleport in with Mekatork, and Mekatork's cackling like he's just laughing.
Seeing the gnome show up in like an awesome way, it's gonna make a lot of gnome players like.
I would have loved. I really hope to see Mekatork again in a cinematic. We saw him fighting with Varian. A little bit of a humor moment, and I'd love to see that again. But seeing him voice acted in game, that was perfect. Well done, Mekatork.
And their little mechs sounded cool while we were fighting off the Blight Forsaken.
And the Void Elves just showing up in numbers, snarls at them, and it's like, buddy, you kicked them out. You kicked them out. People
were like, oh man, we're never gonna see allied races. Here they are. They're still doing it.
They are.
It's awesome.
I will lay down the question, of all people to be absent from the battle, Turalian.
Oh, Turalian.
This is your city, buddy. Like, why would you not be here? That throne room was your king's throne room, and your wife showed. What are you doing? Maybe he's having there's a staff meeting going on for the Army of the Light, talking about PR stuff. Who knows? So let me get to the
coordinating something somewhere else that we'll find out.
Maybe, I doubt it.
He's gonna be in Arathi.
He's gonna be in Arathi. He shows up. He's like, guys, the war. It was a nap. He shows up late, so that's why he's in Arathi. Kind of slept through it. We go through the cinematic. The scenario. Sarfang fights the players. Jack, you actually thought Sarfang was going to die there.
I didn't know. I was questioning. I was like, is he going to die? Because it's suggested in the discussion between Sylvanas and Bane that he goes to die. And I'm like, holy shit, are we gonna kill Saurfang after Old Soldier? We're gonna kill fucking Saurfang right here? Give him his honorable death? But no.
Thank God no. And I love that Anduin brings up that conversation that Varian showed Saurfang honor in Icecrown when he he take his son. And Anduin brings that up. He said, my father always said that Varrock Saurfang was the heart of the Horde. And that's what I was really trying to hone in when we did our Heart of the Horde podcast the other day. And our analysis was that, that's the Horde that Anduin knows, not Sylvanas' Horde. That is the Horde. Saurfang's done some things. And the novella talks about he delighted in the Shatrath slaughter. He delighted in the Stormwind slaughter, but that was demon-crazed Saurfang, and now this is the honorable, no genocide Horde. So we get to Bane and Sylvanas, and it's important to know, I don't really want to talk about Saurfang and Sylvanas, their little interaction, because this is about the cinematic. So we'll go right to Bane, and Bane is pissed. Bane thinks, like Jack, that Saurfang is dead. Saurfang is gone. And it's important, I think, to mention Bane's compliance here. A lot of people have been upset and disappointed that Bane has let all of this happen. And for a little bit of context, in the novella, when he finds out that the Horde army is on the march. By the way, the Horde army thinks they're going to Silithus. The Alliance thought so too. And Saurfang and Bane have a conversation, and it implies that Bane knows that the actual plan when they get to the Barrens is to divert north and head to Ashenvale. And Bane says to Saurfang, is this your plan or is it hers? And Saurfang is honest. He goes, this is mine. This is my plan to conquer and hold Teldrassil. And Bane, he seems to approve of the plan. He's kind of like, you know what? Okay. And I don't want to talk about the novellas too much. I think we should, but not here. Sylvanas' plan to conquer Teldrassil is smart. Read the opening chapter of the novella between her and Saurfang with context. It is so smart because it's a power move to grab the Alliance by the balls. And holding even Anduin or even the Alliance agreed, like if they had held Teldrassil, they would not have marched. If Sylvanas had held Teldrassil, they would not have marched on the Undercity for fear of any retribution. That's it. And that's why she holds Teldrassil balls. She secures Horde territory for a while. And Bane's like, you know what? This is good. Sylvanas' plan is smart, and Bane trusts Saurfang to keep it honorable. He goes, all right, it's not her plan, it's yours. And Saurfang, you're a good dude. I trust you.
Saurfang helped orchestrate all of this. Not the burning, but everything leading up to this.
Literally, everything before burning was all Saurfang's plans, his tactics. Sylvanas obviously was right there, but Saurfang and her, read the novella. That's all I can say. The plan is smart, and Bane trusts Saurfang is going to keep it honorable. But that's all gone now. Bane is pissed. Teldrassil is gone. The Blight has been unleashed on Horde and Alliance soldiers. Saurfang being locked out, which was his choice.
Note that, guys. Sylvanas blighted her own soldiers, including Oryx and Tauren and everything, and raised them mindlessly. They weren't raised as Forsaken; they were raised as mindless undead.
These were not
like Lich King style undead.
And you noted, Jack, the blue eyes.
They had blue eyes. They had blue eyes, just like something that Arthas would have raised.
They weren't. People think that they were Tauren Forsaken or like Orc Forsaken. They were just ghouls.
They don't have wills.
They don't have free will. They don't have any they're all just shambling, and she's always been
shambling,
raised ghouls. Maybe is it Heroes she has that ability, or Warcraft 3? I forget. That she was able to raise ghouls or raise skeletons.
I don't remember her exact mechanics.
Someone comment down below, but she's always been able to do that, and that's important. Bane is angry now, and she says, "Well, if we got a problem with that, you can go die too." And Bane again doesn't say anything. He says, "For the Horde," she says, "Go tend to the living," and people are gonna say,
he says Bane's for the Horde, like "fuck you, bitch."
Like, yeah, he pretty much like the glasses are going to come down and the air horns are going to play when he says it, because she says you can go tend to the living, and I think that's because he thinks Sarfang's gone. Sarfang is gone, and she's still alive. Now he can go die, tackle the Alliance, even though him and Anduin are best friends, or he can stay and ensure that the rest of the Horde doesn't end up like the Horde soldiers on the front lines of Battle for Lordaeron, because they died horribly and then they were raised into undeath. So she gives him a choice: tend to the living or go die. And I it's not like Bane's like, okay, yes, you're Dark Lady. No, it is to me, that was Bane siding, and he's siding with the Horde, not her. He's siding with the Horde, and he gives her the finger.
And
metaphorically,
during the whole scenario, you hear people like Nithano say "for the Forsaken," not for the Horde. So there is the Forsaken are kind of segregating themselves as their own faction at this point. They're becoming kind of the core crown, if you want to.
They kind of already always have too.
They always have. They've always said that. They say "death to the living," not like for the Horde when they go into battle. That's their battle cry. Or for the Dark Lady. They don't say like for the War Chief. And that's been the case forever.
Someone's going to bring up that Sylvana says in the Battle for Azeroth cinematic. And that's a rally cry, but she's always said for the Forsaken. In the novella, she does say Loktar, which is a little bit, but I think a little bit sassy, a little bit.
Oh, like a
maybe.
Probably sassy.
We won't analyze that now. Then the Alliance march in, and Jack and I had this crazy, and maybe you guys thought of it instantly, but when we're writing our notes here.
Wait, hold on. Before we get to this amazingness,
okay,
can we just like underscore all of this with like how fucking ridiculously sassy Sylvanas is?
How Sylvanas has been sassy both cinematics.
Just like peak sass.
To
just
Bane,
firing those sass arrows.
To the Alliance. To Sarfang in the scenario. Now, Jack, you have a little bit of a speculation here.
On what? Which part? On why? So people note that she's exceptionally bold, very in your face, which is really unusual for her. She tends to make like a snide comment from the shadows, very cutting, but not like so just bam, 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 sass in your face. Here I am. And we're curious, does she have Azerite on her person right now? They're making Azerite weapons, but is she actually carrying some with her somewhere? Is she getting like a lot of exposure to it? Because if she is, then she is probably experiencing that that same emotion that she felt in Before the Storm. And to remind everybody, I have the quote here. When she touches the Azerite for the first time, it says, "She was no longer a dark lady or even a queen. She was a goddess of destruction and creation, and she was stunned that she had never understood how deeply the two were entwined. Armies, cities, entire cultures, she could raise them." So is that how she feels all the time now? Is she just like, or whenever she gets like a rush of Azerite nearby, is that what's really pepping her up like this and making her just in your face, I'm the best, I'm Super Sass Queen?
It's interesting to think about how Azerite impacts that, and I think that's a whole discussion that we should really observe Azerite in the expansion and see
among all the leaders, anybody who's exposed to it.
Anyone, and because Anduin touches it, Velen touches it, everyone touches it, they have different feelings. So something to come back to. We don't have enough information on Azerite yet, but it's kind of like she is. You make a note to say, she's always been a snide comment and a glare from the shadows, but she is just like Zed snapping the whole time. But let's get to this is the part that blew my mind, and this is like the brilliance of the in-game cinematics team. The Alliance, and so we have the top-down shot of the Alliance marching right away. You're like, oh yeah, Lordaeron, this walking in, there's no flowers, whatever. But when Anduin walks in through those doors, and when I say walks in, the doors explode open. Very Arthas-like, very Arthas style, and the camera angle, knee-high level, watching Anduin walk in, Anduin and Arthas walking in the same pace, flanked by two on either side of them. Arthas has Falric and Marwyn. Anduin has Gen and Illyria. Now Jaina is behind him,
She's
but
way in the back.
you can see her legs. That's it. The point was Anduin, two guards walking in. This might just be coincidence. This might be the video on YouTube.
We watch. Oh yes, you're bringing up the same thing I am. That we watch the cinematic side by side, and the timestamps.
The timestamps are identical for when Anduin in through those doors. Arthas comes in through those doors, and that could just be coincidence. It could be that the upload on YouTube was a second too long. Who knows? And keep in mind, this is Anduin in the Horde cinematic, because the Alliance one is shortened, because the Alliance got a Jaina cinematic. So if you watch the Horde cinematic and then you watch Arthas walking into Lordaeron to kill his dad, from Warcraft 3, it is the 110 is when they both come barging in.
Same camera angles, same beats, same like animation. It's definitely mirrored. And
they love bringing up just the Blizzard cinematics, whether it's in-game or CGI. They reference things from the past, from different cinematics. Of course, none are coming to mind, and this is one of those. This is a true classic throwback to that iconic moment. Anduin is walking in to depose the ruler of Lordaeron. Arthas walked in to depose ruler of Lordaeron. Opposite sides now. The light and shadow are on different sides now. Anduin.
That's a point that I really
go for it.
That's a point that I really, really want to drive in. This is not. I'm actually going to say it's declaratively, not speculatively. They are not saying that Anduin is Arthas. They're not saying Anduin is the Lich King. That is not what's being communicated here. What it is saying is that Anduin is a usurper. The previous time we saw these exact motions was Arthas usurping his father. And now we see Anduin usurping Sylvanas. Sylvanas is even sitting in the chair the same way Tyrannus is in the
She's
cinematic.
Leaning. She's kind of off to the side.
So is Tyrannus.
Like it's people are like it's to a T. It's eerie. And we will say that there's a part where this changes.
Yes, it splits.
Arthas kneels. Anduin does not. And I think that's key.
There, just completely
different sections. But Arthas kneels, obviously, before his father, especially what he's about to do. And go back and watch both cinematics, and it is jarring how similar, and just not only like how visually similar it is, but like the meaning behind it, the usurping of the ruler of Lordaeron, the light and shadow, this all, and there's just little things, if you look on the floor, you can see Tyrannus's blood on the floor.
We're like in sync here, because I was going to bring that up.
Oh, like Jack and I are on the same, our minds are on Azerite right now.
Wild. I see all the possibilities.
There are so many possibilities. I'm going through my notes here. Even the sword, and this would have been crazy if Anduin puts the sword down in the same way Arthas does it. He doesn't. But Anduin, representative of the light, usurping the shadow usurper, the shadow ruler of Lordaeron, the sword is bloody, while Arthas, ensnared and wrapped in shadow to usurp the ruler, the light side with his dad, Frostmourn's not bloody, not yet.
Pristine.
And there's kind of this interesting, and she even comments like, you've gotten it all bloody. Again, Sylvanas, the Sass Queen.
Because she's been a sassy bitch again. And that's glorious.
Something that may have stuck out to you if you read Before the Storm is she refers to Anduin as a lion. And she calls him that several times in conversation to him in Before the Storm. And it's important that she actually makes note, when she's thinking about Anduin to herself and to Nathanos, she refers to him as Rin. She just says, Rin's going to do this. And then she kind of stops. She goes, whoa, that's a little weird. Every time I've said Rin is doing this or Rin will do that, it's always been in reference to Varian. Big, scary Varian Rin, the gladiator king of the Alliance. And now Anduin is so different from Varian. She's like, that's weird to say Rin out loud and it not mean Varian, it means Anduin. And so she calls him Little Lion to his face. And that was a nice little, there's Christy Golden, nice little details in the cinematic that I thought were. Illyria's threat was unexpected. I did not expect Illyria to speak at all during the cinematic.
Neither did
And
I.
a lot of people thought that she was just okay with her sister. Like at the end of the Three Sisters comics, like there was obviously some aggression there, but they kind of left on the sad note. It was a sad departure, and then Sylvanas reveals that all of her Dark Rangers were ready to kill them all. But it was a sad. Aren't they always kill them all? They're always there. The sad departure between the three Windrunner sisters, and now Illyria. Since Illyria's been to that meeting, Sylvanas has been responsible for the slaughter of thousands. Not only Teldrassil, but now the front lines of Lordaeron Alliance and Horde. Illyria has witnessed all the shit that she's heard about her sister over the years. Gilneas, Lordaeron, all of that. She has now witnessed what everyone has been saying. What Varisa said to her when she got back. Sylvanas' kill count has doubled since Illyria's come back. Figuratively, you could argue that many more died in Cataclysm, whatever. And I was so like, whoa, she's talking back. And then Sylvanas again with the sharp tongue says, how rude. This is my home. Which brings us to our next point. Greymane does not like that comment.
I just want to kind of celebrate Illyria for an additional little. I love that they're giving her some focus still. Her eyes, they're cool. We're not going to get into the difference between her and the Void Elves, but it is nice to see their leader here. And
high elves and Blood Elves are the same thing. If you want to play High Elf, just go play Horde. Sarcasm. That's sarcasm. I don't believe with that. I don't agree with that.
Golden eyes just make it equivalent. Like, fight me. I'm not serious. Don't comment at me. So I love Illyria. I'm glad that since she was there, they gave her voice lines because I was concerned that her sister wouldn't speak up. And it's great to see the almost family feud going on in the background between these really prominent elves.
Almost like she's like, excuse me, like Illyria, that's rude. Not the time for that. I'm sassing Greymane and Anduin, not you. There's this sort of a like, hey, this is my home. You respect me here. We're not on neutral territory anymore. And when she says this is her home, Greymane just he erupts. His voice is shaking. He goes, "Your home?" And I thought I was like, "Whoa!" Like he is like Greymane. You lost Gilneas. Like Lordaeron's been gone for a while. And then you think about it, Greymane abandoned Lordaeron.
He left them.
He left them in a time of peace, which was okay, or uneasiness. But then didn't open his gates when the plague hit. And it occurred to me. The Ghanaians, like there were Lordaeron refugees banging on those gates, and they just kept. He didn't look down at them and go, "Ha ha, nerds," but he just didn't open the door for them. And after Before the Storm, spoilers if you haven't read it, Greymane doesn't hate Forsaken at the end. He agrees with Anduin. He goes, "You know what? Sylvana, she's crazy." But the Forsaken people,
and Alonsis Fowl have also helped convince him of this.
They all convinced
especially
him.
Alonsis.
And I really think that guilt is starting to weigh down on Greymane because he's never, he's expressed guilt for abandoning the Alliance, but specifically not Lordaeron. In fact, he has probably had no reason to acknowledge his guilt to Lordaeron because Lordaeron got their revenge when they destroyed Gilneas, kind of thing. So he's just like super angry. And I almost want to say that his guilt is coming out here. He's saying, like, no, this is not your home. Like, you defiled that throne. He knew the man who sat on that throne.
Yeah.
And he is just pissed. And I thought it was really the anger and the shaking of his voice was just like, it hit me. I had to think like, why, buddy, calm down. Why are you so angry? And I was like, oh, okay, no, there's a lot there. There's a lot there in that little line. And then we get to so much emotion. We get to Anduin's final line. You put the torch to Teldrassil, but I failed those that burned. And That's interesting because in the novella, Anduin feels there's a little bit of guilt there. On his word, the Darnassian fleet departed for Silithus. You know, that was all Sarfang and Sylvanas' plans were to separate the Alliance and created that diversion, that opening for them to go straight for the throat. And he puts himself at blame. He blames himself for not foreseeing her actions. He thinks he's failed the people of Teldrassil because he gave her the open. He played into her hands. All the spies that were spying in Orgrimmar all intentionally gave information to Anduin. Not intentionally, but the Horde fed the Alliance fake information. Anduin fell for it. He fell for her card, and he blames himself. And at the end, as he's witnessing Tyrande cradle this infant, Anduin comes to a resolution that he has in the novella that he has no doubts, and he will have this war. He is, and I keep saying this, he is following through with Varian's promise at the end of Siege of Orgrimmar. He is following through with his promise in Before the Storm when he tells Sylvanas that if she killed him, the full might of the Alliance would come crashing down on their heads. And he says, you know what? No more warnings, no more. This is it. And that's important to know that Anduin feels responsible for the people who burned in Teldrassil. But he also knows that the action itself, the war, that wasn't him. That was her, and that's what he's there to claim. And I really encourage you all, because we could talk about this for an hour, to go through that whole dialogue and look at how everyone looks at each other. Look at all the little subtle head gestures, Illyria looking up. There's so much there that maybe we'll have a 2.0 analysis where we talk about every second in absolute crystalline detail. But until then, go watch everything.
The animations, the cinematics team did an amazing job conveying so much emotion and just the way that they're making their expressions as they're delivering their lines, as their body language, the way they're standing around each other in the space, the lighting, the music and sound is so on point. There's so much in here.
There's so much
in these cutscenes.
And this is still a prologue. So the cinematic ends and the Thanos activates his trap card. I assume that he must have used her bow to shoot.
How about that hesitation?
Oh, we didn't talk about the hesitation.
Right?
I completely overlooked that. Oh my god.
We have it further up. We have the notes on this further up here, but the Thanos, you see hesitation in him again. It's not like a deliberate like Bane style, like, oh, for the heart. No, it's he pauses for a moment and just regards her. You could see almost like a flicker of not sure. Just like in Before the Storm. Well, in Before the Storm, he's very deliberate. What are you doing? We've brought this up many times. And Before the Storm, when she kills the Desolate Council, we're assuming you guys have either read the book or you're not going to read it. So when she kills the Desolate Council, what are you doing? Her own people. Then the burning of Teldrassil, these aren't his people, but there's some reticence when she goes burn it. She has to say it twice to the Thanos. Burn it, burn it. And you even see him, when it cuts to him, it's still a moment of hesitation. Not like a wavery moment, but just a hold on. He's doing that again as she's handing him the bow to activate their trap card. She lifts his chin, and people probably just are gonna see him as just this blind dog, and it's important. So the Thanos is a dick to us. He snarls at us. He yells at us for not rolling as Dark Rangers. He's mad at us. The undead are not expressive.
No, that's it. They don't have a lot of. Mostly because they can't, because they're rotting. The Thanos is different, though. He's got a new body. He's got this sexy Dracula kind of look going on with his cool Gilneas transmog, which is on point. She grabs his chin and she says, like, she assures him, like, my champion, like, do what needs to be done. And I implore you guys to not overlook that second of hesitation. That is key. Blizzard is setting up something for Nathanos this expansion. Something is coming because he hesitated. In his short story, he feels guilt at the end of it. Nathanos felt guilt. It says that word for word. Maybe a little bit different. Before the Storm, he's like, why are you killing the Forsaken Council? He says, what are you doing, my queen?
There's something simmering here.
He hesitates with Teldrassil, as Jack said, and here. Blizzard is putting these things, they're sprinkling the sprinkle salt meme everywhere in all these different forms of media. Now, in game, when you get to Zandalar, he's probably going to yell at you for not being a Dark Ranger, and he's probably going to refer to his queen as my queen in the whole evilest way possible. But in the background, there's something brewing here. Just wait.
There's probably a lot of internal struggle here.
There is. Nathanos activates all the blights. Jaina saves the day again. And I think it's
Rees into the sky.
Rees just as she normally does. Another at it, and the whole city is flooding with blight. And I first thought, oh my god, rip us the players, because we weren't in the cinematic room, which is a little bit tricky because we can't be in all cinematics. We can't be there, so it's safe to assume maybe Anduin told us guard the doors. We're going in here alone, or we fell back because while before the city's flooding with blight, before we get to Sarfang, Mekatork is told to backtrack through the keep and station everyone at Brill.
That's probably what happened to us.
That's probably what happened to us. Or we were there and Jaina saves us as well, teleports onto her dad's boat, and we get away. But I thought, oh my god, all those Alliance soldiers.
By the way, she's wearing that necklace.
She is
from the Warbringer.
I thought all those soldiers are dead. They're gone. Rip in peace. And then it specifically says Mekatork station them at Brill. So we can assume a lot of the Alliance soldiers get out of there. God forbid you got distracted and fell behind. Well,
I did that.
And there's a dramatic stare down. Lorthamar is chip, and it's kind of like, what are you doing? What's your game, Lorthamar? I want to see you step up.
Instead of just standing there, like,
it's interesting the formation that the Horde leaders are standing in. I don't think the Alliance standing there is it could mean something, but the Horde is Sylvanas is up front, Nathanos is a little bit behind her, and then Bane and Lorthamar are back here. And I kind of thought the Horde's hope is standing behind Sylvanas because they support her, or standing behind Sylvanas because they're getting a little bit further away. They're letting her step up.
They're walking up to push her off.
They're just gonna. It's a shame she can fly, because if she couldn't fly, that would be the city's flooding with blight, and Bane's just like throws her over the edge, throws Nathanos over with her too, and then of course Anduin and Sylvanas are mirrored in their position. Anduin and Sylvanas, Gen and Nathanos, and then Illyria and Jaina are Bane and Lorthamar in that same behind position. Guys, this is huge. Like, even though there were no big deaths, there were no big huge revelations, there is so much. The stage has been set now. The political stage is set, and now Kultiras and Zandalar. What happens next?
I'm excited.
And I want to talk a lot more about this.
I just want to throw this out there. I didn't expect this to be so epic. I was kind of disappointed by the first 2 weeks, and then this was just like, holy fuck! Like, actually really fun, really cool. I love the pre-patch now. I wouldn't say I was disappointed by the first 2 weeks, but I was kind of like, I had to remind myself of separation between in-game story and out-of-game story. I had to really separate the mediums. But here, that's what I was getting caught up on.
This cinematic, the scenario, the siege of Lordaeron felt so hectic, more hectic than the Broken Shore. It was amazing, and I cannot wait to see how else Blizzard implements this. Are we going to return to Undercity one day? Are we going to return to the Blight's been cleansed by Jaina in that one part? So what does that mean? What does the future of the Forsaken mean? If you want to hear us talk about Forsaken, go listen to our podcast. I do a full review on Before the Storm, and then the episode after that, Jack and I talk about the future of the Forsaken. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this special episode of Beyond the Sanctum.
Those are still relevant. Those are definitely relevant going into the launch.
They are even more relevant now that we know what this is about. If you want to hear our thoughts more on this, join us for our podcast on Sunday. I'm sure Jack and I are going to talk about everything that happened here in greater detail with another guest. Maybe, we don't know. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this special episode of Beyond the Sanctum. My name is Jesse, and I'm here with Jack.
I'm Jack.
And we'll see you next time. Battle for Azeroth is a week away, guys. It is a week away.
Some of you came to talk to us on Discord, and it's awesome.
Yes, please do join our Discord. Come yell at us. Tell us what you think. show us your transmogs. We have a whole Discord, and everyone's so talkative and supportive. Please come join us, and we'll see you on Culture Us or Zandalar or both. Because
we're getting on that boat.
We're getting on Jaina's dad's boat. It's happening. Thanks, guys. See you later.
See ya.